Good morning. This morning we have our pediatric residency update. And I've been asked by Dr. Permerschwartz out today, so you're stuck with me introducing our esteemed colleagues. We're going to do this program. This is a great chance for us both to get faculty development credit, but also to meet with the residents and some of the new credit, the new folks coming in, and the wonderful work that's being done in the pediatric residency program. First, we have Dr. Kelly Henchel, who reminds me that she's not from Michigan, but Michigan State, so go Spartans, right?
Yes.
She got her undergraduate degree there, MD at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, and then finished her residency up at St. John's Medical Center in Detroit, Michigan. Got the idea to come south because I think it's too cold up there, and did 13 years of private practice in Wilson, North Carolina, and then joined Carilion Clinic in 2010. She was section chief of general pediatrics until 2020, when she assumed the role of program director of the residency and continues to do great work in that regards still. Our second speaker is Dr. Violet Borowicz. Dr. Borowicz attended medical school at Drexel University College of Medicine in Philadelphia and did her pediatric residency at Alfred I. DuPont Hospital for Children in Delaware. She joined Carilion Children's after completing her Heme Fellowship at Children's National in D.C. in 2014. She took over medical director role of care connection of children in 2017, and she became one of the associate program directors for the pediatric residency here in 2019. Her touting is she and her two wonderful children. They have two wonderful children. They're huge hockey fans, Goat Caps, and we can't give your husband credit for the wings since he's not here. Thank you all for joining us.
And then Dr. Ann Washofsky, the other associate program director, was not able to be with us today. She's on service on the wards, but is directly responsible for a lot of the presentation, and we appreciate all the work she did to help us bring to you the residency update for this year. So the goals and objectives are to review the resident and faculty achievements from the past year, describe the changes to recruitment in a virtual world, review the resident and faculty evaluations, and describe the curriculum changes that we've made for the upcoming academic year. First of all, congratulations to our 2022 graduates. We did have a live graduation with family, faculty, and friends on June 11th. And that was the first time we were able to do that since the beginning of the pandemic. And next year we hope to get a whole lot more of you back out as we continue to re-enter the world. So thanks for everybody that came to help celebrate our graduates. The graduates are Dr. Asamoah, who we have managed to keep with us here at Tanglewood. We're currently wrestling over where she will sit because we all want her to work next to us, as she brings so much knowledge and stability to our days. Dr. Hayes, we have managed to keep, somehow wrestled him into being our fourth-year chief, and he has already hit the ground running and is doing great things to help continue to advance our residency. Dr. Hinn will be working with Title Health at Children's National. She'll be working as a hospice and doing locums work, with plans to move on to a Heme Fellowship the following year. Dr. Price gets to stay with us a few more months, thanks to Colby. And then she will be leaving to go home to Falls Pediatrics in North Carolina. And Dr. Leal is our first resident to match into a pediatric ICU fellowship, and will go into VCU. Congratulations to all of them for their hard work and future plans. For everyone that missed graduation, this is a class that I'm incredibly proud of. They spent at least half of their residency during the high point of the pandemic. There was a Sunday, and I was the only one with a Sunday where we went down to 0 census in the pediatric ward. These folks I worried about. I said things that they perceived as not nice because I was worried that they were not getting enough work to be successful to leave us and be able to go into independent practice. They really hit the ground running from that moment on. I think they understood what I was trying to say, as hurtful as it might have sounded at the time. And they have doubled the number of patients seen in continuity clinic that the third-year class saw the year before. I think, as of yesterday, Olivia is our winner, although she and Jill are wrestling, but they've seen I think you were up to 250 patients this year, which is really record-setting for our program. It's taken a lot of work in the clinic to accomplish that, with nursing support, and to get them the extra patients, but the residents coming into general outpatient pediatrics said, we know we haven't gotten the experience we need, help us. And I think we have pushed you guys to 8 and 9 patients, maybe even a little more some days when they have stuck patients in. And Dr. Leal has done the same, even though he is not going in that direction. So thank you guys for really stepping up and seeing what you needed to do. I'm super proud of everything you've done. And what you've done this year is you all presented at Grand Rounds. All of the Grand Rounds were incredibly informative, and we learned a lot from you, and thank you for all of the work that the faculty mentors did with you to accomplish this. Each one of you just did an outstanding job. You all completed quality improvement projects. Thank you again to the faculty who supported you in your endeavors there. And all of you did a really great job with those and worked hard to get them done. Dr. Hart, I believe that you have joined us this morning, and I'm hoping this didn't leak to you yet, but we were given the opportunity to name an award from the medical school, which is the Dean's Academic Excellence Award. We chose to name this award in your honor, and we are calling it the Michael Hart Dean's Academic Excellence Award. This award comes with $1,000 for the winner from the medical school, and it is awarded to somebody who is just like you. Someone who has outstanding achievement in patient care, medical education, and scholarship. Somebody who epitomizes the values of the medical school, which are collaboration and excellence, innovation and discovery, diversity, equity, inclusion, humanism, and compassion. Someone who has a track record of service to the medical school, whether it be medical school teaching, mentoring, or committee service. Dr. Hart, we miss you.
Oh, thank
But
you.
it's hard to miss you when I get a series of 6 or 7 emails some days where you're helping me stay current in my GI knowledge, and I thank you for that. Your blog is invaluable, and we are making sure that all of our interns will get signed up.
Well, thank you so much. It's such an honor.
You are somebody that we all strive to be on a daily basis. I just can't figure out how you get it all done in every day still. I tried to get up at 4 this morning and had to tell Alexa that that was not going to work. So I am not quite at your level yet, but continue to strive to be. Thank you for everything that you did for us while you were here at Carilion and continue to do for us. Thank you for coming and giving Grand Rounds. Thank you for all of the up-to-date information you continue to provide to us and the work that you do to better children's health.
It's truly my pleasure. Thank you so much,
that
Joel.
award went to Andrew Hayes. And Andrew was given that award at graduation. We're proud of everything that Andrew has done with our students and in meeting those values throughout his time here, and really look forward to what he will continue to add to our residency and the medical students in the next year.
Congratulations.
Another award was given by the Virginia Tech Class of 2023, which is their Humanism and Excellence in Teaching Award. 6 residents across the system are given this award yearly. This is given to a resident who models professionalism and prioritizes teaching along with their own learning and patient care responsibilities. This year, Dr. David O'Neill was awarded this from the medical school. I don't think it came with cash though, did it?
No.
So just a certificate. So maybe David can strive to get to the 3rd-year level of Dr. Hayes, but we really appreciate everything that David has done as a first year and really being able to teach and give to the students as he was recognized for. Thank you, David, for that. And then we have faculty awards, which I'm going to let Dr. Borowicz talk about.
All right, so most of you know we have 2 faculty awards that we give every year. The Humanism Award is awarded to the faculty member who embodies caring, compassion, support, and approachability and treats patients as like part of their own family. The teaching award is awarded to the faculty member who exemplifies respect, competency, honesty, good communication, and use of current scientific evidence and research in their daily clinical practice, and always takes time to teach residents and students. So we polled the residents. These were our teaching award nominees. As you can see, we have a great group of faculty who is always willing to teach and strive to better our residents. And this year's award winner is none other than David Winkler, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And then again, same with our Humanism Award. Our residents did nominate a bunch of our faculty as well who have really gone above and beyond with their patients. And this year's winner for our Humanism Award is Dr. Chad Ward.
So who are the residents in our neighborhood for this upcoming year? Our third years, and if we have more name changes, I don't know how I'm going to keep up. Dr. Mosaddegh has become Dr. Brown. Dr. Eames is still Dr. Eames. Dr. Estep, Dr. Shoemaker, Dr. Kumar. Just to confuse us greatly, Dr. Gilman will become Dr. Price as Dr. Price leaves. So good luck to all of us on that one. Our PGY2s are Dr. Birdwell, Dr. Lee, Dr. Moran, Dr. O'Neill. Dr. Petoni changed his name to Dr. Nito, and Dr. Ragabon. And our new interns who have completed now their PALs, and I believe are spending the day today with Dr. Hayes for the most part. Dr. Robbie Hake came from University of Virginia. Dr. Brooke Jones has come to us from Texas Tech University. Dr. Amin, I believe, made it to the U.S. yesterday, but came in with his PALs, so we're in great shape. Dr. Perdomo comes to us from Lake Erie College of Medicine, but she has spent time in the military, finished her internship, and has been seeing adult patients there, and is super excited to get back to pediatrics, and is here, met her yesterday. Dr. Sherwood came back to Virginia from Chicago, and Dr. Williams also got married. I'm not sure if she's name changing, but came to us from Liberty, and is a Hokie by birth and breath, and so Dr. Pierce, you will do well with her. So these are our interns. Look for their faces. We have lunches upcoming for you all to meet them, both inpatient and outpatient. They'll be around doing some scavenger hunts, both inpatient and outpatient as well. But we're really excited about this class as they are hitting the ground running. What I learned yesterday is they don't look like their pictures. Dr. Keyes, I believe you met many of them and can second that.
I did. I didn't recognize them. Are you family medicine or peds? Yeah. Okay.
And then we're doing this still, right? Like, who are you? So, so they are here, and we're very excited to have them. A big thanks and farewell to Dr. Winkler, who was Associate Program Director, well loved by nursing, faculty, and the residents alike. Little does he know that my threat when we made t-shirts with his face on them for his last day of work, thank you to Dr. Asamoah's idea. He has now been to the Bonnaroo Music Festival as well. My plan is to wear him on every vacation I take and send him pictures of himself traveling around the world on my t-shirt. So I encourage all of you with the Dave Winkler t-shirts to do the same. Let's see where we can spot Dave Winkler moving forward. He will be missed, but we're very happy that he was allowed to, or finally was able to move over to Vanderbilt with his fiance, and wish him well as he moves forward in his life. So our current residency leadership is me, the program director, Dr. Borowicz, his associate program director in long-standing, who will be the co-chair of the CCC committee, recruitment committee co-chair, didactics coordinator, which is a big chunk of work, and in charge of the resident grand rounds. Dr. Washofsky will also be a CCC co-chair, recruitment committee co-chair, procedure curriculum, morning report and cow director, inpatient rotation curriculum director, SIM director, resident remediation oversight, and the resident assessment director. So she has stepped up and taken in the role that Dr. Winkler left, and we're really excited to have her. Michelle Botello preceded me in the role as well. Our program manager, she moved from assistant manager to program manager 2 years ago. And Nikki Hedrick joined us shortly thereafter, who's our assistant manager. Nikki is not with us today, as she is in the National Powerlifting Championships. So wish her well as she, yeah, don't mess with our program. National Powerlifting competition this weekend. Faculty advisors are a really important part of us functioning as a residency, and the faculty advisors meet with residents quarterly, review and develop their learning goals, review their career plans, many times have a different career plan than their advisee, but help them identify then a career mentor if needed, develop their individualized learning plans, review their ITE, procedure logs, conference attendance and evaluations, assess their milestones, and report to the core competency committee every 6 months. And we have a really solid group of advisors. Dr. Borowicz, Dr. Dava, Dr. Fulton, Dr. Garen LaFlamme, Dr. Wynn, Dr. Olizagasti, Dr. Permeshwar, Dr. Pierce, Dr. Powell, Dr. Przykowski, Dr. Reynolds, Dr. Stewart, Dr. Ward are all current advisors. We're at 13 because Jill's still here for 3 months. Thank you again, Colby. New advisors for this year. We didn't want Olivia to get bored at all, so Olivia's going to be an advisor for us this year. Dr. Bender, who's recently joined the NICU, has also agreed to be an advisor. Dr. Doherty, Dr. Keys, Dr. Panetta, and Dr. Powell. So we thank everybody for your service to the residents and being their advisors. This is a really important role, and I think that Olivia, maybe being the only one new to this, and I believe Dr. Panetta as well, you will really enjoy the time you get to spend with the residents and the involvement with the residency. It really gives you some insight into what's going on. This is the bane of my existence. Recruiting virtually in a COVID world. I was looking for a picture to represent how I feel about it. This picture to me more represents what our program maybe looks like to the outside world. It's really hard to set yourself apart when you're a small program in Southwest Virginia and you're trying to appeal to a global audience. So we are working really, really, really hard to not look like this to the outside world. I am not sure how I feel about all of this. Well, I'm sure how I feel, but we're not going to spend time with me ranting about it. But recommendations came from the Association of Pediatric Program Directors, COMSEC, the American Medical School Program Directors, Future Peds Residency, and Next Gen Pediatricians to only have virtual interviews again this year. The APPD says no swag, no contact, stay in your lane, don't reach out, don't over-recruit, be good. I'll tell you, last year we had residents who interviewed with us that matched places like CHOP and Boston Children's. It's really, really hard to tell in this virtual world who's a serious applicant and who's just taking, I believe Don met a family medicine resident already who interviewed it or put 50 applications in for family medicine. So I
She was from
don't,
Boston University.
pardon?
She was from Boston University.
I don't know how we manage this world. It's been hard for us. The program has never had to participate in the supplemental offers before 2 years ago when we had to make one supplemental offer. We had to make 4 this year. Luckily, we play that game in a really strong way. I think I could coach people on how to do that. I'm very happy with how our supplemental matches have gone, but I just don't know how we wade through this. So the program is really in process of revamping our entire recruitment package. How do we frame us? How do we highlight us? How do we make us stand apart? I think saying, oh, come to rural Southwest Virginia sounds really, really scary if you've never come here and you haven't been able to meet us and visit and see us. So we're reframing a little bit so that we really have a town that we live in. There's some urban, suburban, and then we service a huge rural population. So we're going to try to reframe, try to do a better job of recruiting this year because although we've been successful in the SOAP, it's not fun. So the reasons why they said we should do this is that everyone believes that it has been an effective assessment to do virtual interviews, the survey programs and the applicants from the past 2 years. That there's equity in this, and that there's cost savings to the students and the programs as well. And there could be restrictions to travel, so they're trying not to limit students from traveling and getting back to their clinics. It minimizes time away from clinical endeavors for the students, which I would say is actually negative, because when you can sit down and interview at 50 programs because you can, it puts us at a disadvantage. And I always like that they throw in the environmental impact of not traveling is important. I try to be environmentally conscious, but that's a tough one. So what about in-person second looks, and what else are they recommending? The recommendation is that we don't have second looks, that we can provide area guides and recommendations to come see our area. We can have virtual sessions to try to talk about our area. However, if the applicants reach out to the program and want to come look, I'm not supposed to meet them. Dr. Borowicz and Michelle are not supposed to meet them, Nikki or Dr. Washofsky, but residents and other faculty can. Because the way it is written is that leaders are not to meet in person with the applicant. So if anybody is interested in meeting with people who want to come through, please let me know. And that may be of some help. I don't know what else to do with that. I would really like to have had second looks. There was talk about having programs turn in their match rank lists and giving enough time for people to come look if they want. That was shot down with the statement that the students won't believe those lists are in and locked and will feel pressured to come. And then giving less equity to applicants. So that, for this season, has been shot down. I'm hoping that will change. Interestingly, the broad recommendation that this group has given to the students is to apply to no more than 20 programs. I don't know who they are. It applied to 20, right? So it's tough. It's tough on our end. ARIS has added some things for pediatrics for this year that may help us, may not. The residents or the applicants are able to highlight their 5 most meaningful activities on their applications. So hopefully those won't be highlighting the cat fostering, which was our favorite volunteer activity of last interview season. They can provide geographic preferencing. However, you can preference 3 of 9 regions in the US, or no preference at all. Signaling. You can identify the 5 programs that you would most like to interview at. However, there's all these questions. Should you signal your home program? Should you not? Should you signal the away rotations that you're trying to secure still, or should you not? So, ideally, they will know that we're in top 5 for applicants, if we are, that we're in their top 3 of 9 regions, and maybe better be able to holistically review their applications with the highlighted 5 most meaningful activities. We'll see. So what are we doing? We have a large storyboard that's living in my office right now with photographs of my poor handwriting. We're going to try to really revamp our interview strategy. We'd like to revamp have revamped our mission and goals. We'd like to better be able to describe our area and population. We'd like to really highlight what it is that we do very well. And by highlighting that, we are planning to do a lot of highlighting of where our residents have come from, where they have gone, what their practice lives are, and beef up our resident testimonies and stories for them to read, because I think that's the best way to talk about who we are as a program. We are going to try to highlight things like the ballet and the children's theater and things that we might have left out in the past, things that make us feel more urban than a really rural area that you may not be able to visit and not understand what a great place this is to live. So we're going to be working really, really hard in the next couple of months, adding some videos as well. I've gone through many, many residency sites and watched their videos, looked at the way their things are laid out to try to see why they may have matched more effectively than we did. So a lot of work to go on there. If you have any ideas, welcome to hear them. I think at the GME level, we may be pulling together a few of the interns to just get some ideas. If not, I'm going to talk to our interns about what they felt like went well. What were the things that attracted them? Because I think sometimes there's a mismatch between what we think and they think. So this is the hardest thing that's been going on. I'd love to get back to live interviews or have some live options. I think it's really important for us, much more so than CHOP in Boston, Children's in Cincinnati. It's hard to compete when this pool's all interviewing across the nation. I went through and vetted everybody that we put on our match list. It appeared that the only thing I could find that was important was geography. So maybe the geographical signaling will help. Again, any ideas? Bring them. We're happy to have them. So where are we with our survey results and accreditation? Better stuff. Our program has no citations. We resolved the citation for our board pass rate. There are no citations, and we are a fully accredited program with continuing accreditation, for which we're very proud. We had a special review a year ago that was led by Dr. Vid. We developed a special work plan in response to that because our surveying was not good last year. And we were concerned about where we were going. We had a special review coming up anyways because the program director changed. We pushed for it and had it done earlier. What have we done in response to that? We've clarified the ACGME rotation requirements and tracking. They're a little bit cumbersome and clumsy in pediatrics because many things count in 2 or 3 different areas. So we have made each resident a chart that shows what they have done and what they need to do. We've improved resident participation in hospital committees and the event reviews at the hospital. Michelle has been assigning those, and we have had 12 attendees this year. We have improved the ACGME survey in faculty engagement and education that was on the scorecard. Not quite to where we want it yet, so we'll continue to work on that. And then one of the things that came up is that our schedule didn't look like it was any easier to be a 3rd year than a 1st year. So we worked with the residents to revise their curriculum in response to their needs and the changing needs of pediatricians across the country. So we've done a lot of work there. There's a lot of work to go. And some of those things will be coming up shortly. So what did the residents say that we do well? There were a lot of 100% compliance on our survey this year. Some of ours were low, like in the 60s, but then when you looked across, then the national average may have been in the 60s, 70s. You know, we were close on most. But the residents say that they have adequate time to interact with patients. They're able to attend their personal appointments. They can access confidential mental health counseling and treatment. They are satisfied with the safety and health conditions. The process is in place for confidential reporting of unprofessional behavior. They know how to report patient safety events, and the interprofessional teamwork skills are modeled and taught well. They also say that the process to transition patient care when their clinical duties, when they're fatigued, they understand those, and those are in place. They're satisfied with faculty feedback, instruction on minimizing effects of sleep deprivation, instruction on maintaining their physical and emotional well-being, instruction on scientific inquiry principles, education in assessing patient goals in end-of-life care, and opportunities to participate in scholarly activities. Where are we not doing so well? Appropriate balance between education and patient care. Impact of other learners on education. We've tried to, Dr. Hayes talked with the residents to try to get some insight for us on the survey results. It seems that the biggest place where we are getting unsatisfactory scores in that is losing procedures to other learners in our system. The biggest example being in the NICU, where they are trying to train nurse practitioners to be providers in neonatal intensive care units, and the residents are not getting the lines and intubations and things that they would like. So we'll be working to help improve that. Protected time to participate in structured learning activities. We made the bold move to go from the block didactics to noon lectures. It goes really, really beautifully here at Tanglewood. Everybody loves it. When you're on inpatient services, we've had trouble protecting that time, and we are working at that. Several ways we're working at that, looking at the residents' perfect serves all being transferred to the attending during that block, talking about if that can't work, collecting up the phones so they can be watched by someone, making sure that we have the appropriate electronic link in place, and the team room should be set up similar to Tanglewood here shortly. We have the equipment, so that we will have a Tanglewood talking to a team room. Hopefully all of the sound will work appropriately for that, so that it's more like a live event rather than half of you are still virtual and unseen and unheard. So hopefully those things will help with that. Able to raise concerns without fear of intimidation or retaliation still comes up on there. I'm not sure that I quite understand that still, but we're still trying to talk to the residents and understand where that feeling comes from. Satisfied with the process of dealing confidentially with problems or concerns still comes up as an issue and has always been an issue on our surveys. I believe it's mostly to do with program size. In a program of 18 residents, it's very hard to disguise a resident in remediation or struggling, although every program has them. If you talk to Dr. Stewart, when you have 40-some residents per class at Cincinnati, you may never work with that resident, so there is a bit of confidentiality. When you're a program our size, we're all working together, and people become quite aware of that. So I don't know what more we can do. If anyone has answers, insight, ideas, we're always happy to hear those. And interestingly, there's a lot of stuff that goes on confidentially that no one knows about. So I think it's a what you know versus what you don't know, and how do you put that all together. Information not lost during shift changes, patient transfers, or handover processes. IPASS has been given to us as a program to train our interns this year. So hopefully we will practice IPASS very well moving forward, and that can become less of a concern. Faculty creating an environment of inquiry. I think that we have done a really, really nice job with Morning Report, and I thank everyone who attends regularly. Virtually is lovely, but we are always happy to have you in the upstairs conference room on the dentistry side of the building here if you would like to join us ever. I think the fun part about being in the classroom for me as faculty is seeing how the residents are thinking through the case, and I think sometimes they're entertained by my thought processes, which may be advanced and may not be so advanced, but it's nice to see how each other think and to have that open environment, and it's okay not to know everything. So you're all always invited, everyone who's here at Tanglewood, if you ever want to pop in up there for Morning Report, we're there, and it's a good time. And extent to which increasing clinical responsibility is granted based on resident training and ability. This is one of the things that was brought up in our special review is that, and I'm guilty of this, so I'll just call myself out. We have goals and objectives that were written when the residency opened a decade ago that haven't been updated. And that was hey, we need goals and objectives for the rotation in your clinic. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about having a residency, but here's what we'll do with your resident. So they were sort of baby step goals and objectives, and we need to get those all revamped. So within the next academic year, I'm going to be asking section chiefs to have your section help us go through your goals and objectives for your rotations. And we need to go ahead and have what's different for our first year, second year, and third year so that it stratifies the responsibilities and goals for the residents as they move through the system. So that's one of the things that we're working on. I believe the inpatient doctors have also talked about changing some of the stratification of responsibilities for the residents, or will be doing that. So one of the things that's going to be a big ask of faculty. I think I own 3 or 4 goals and objectives myself for our office. So I understand this is a big ask, but we really need to work on that. Hopefully here in the next 12 months. Faculty says we're doing great with the residents participating in clinical patient safety investigation analysis of safety events. The learning environment being conducted to education, the residents comfortable calling supervisors with questions. process for confidential reporting of unprofessional behavior, effective teamwork and patient care, and interprofessional teamwork skills modeled and taught. Knowing how to report safety events, faculty members committed to educating residents, program director effectiveness, learning environment conducive to education, and program fostering an inclusive work environment. What do we think we're not doing well? Satisfied with the process to deal confidentially with problems and concerns. Information not lost during shift changes, patient transfers, or handover process. Sufficient time to supervise residents. Residents being instructed on cost effectiveness of care. Residents prepared for unsupervised practice. Engaged in program efforts to recruit diverse residents and retain diverse residents. If anyone is interested in helping during recruitment this season, and you feel like you can help us with diverse recruiting, you are welcome to participate. Just shoot me an email. We are happy to have you. It's a difficult process when we are not really in control of when we get out of the match. So any ideas you have on how to improve that, we welcome them as well. Curriculum changes. I threw the curriculum stuff first, if you want me to do that. And then So we moved the surgery rotation from first year to third year. The goal of that rotation was always to have the pediatrician on the surgery service be the pediatrics expert, and we mistakenly made it a first year rotation where that's really hard to be an expert in anything during first year. So we've moved that over. Inpatient psych had to give up beds this year because of nursing shortage. So we pulled the residents because they were not getting a robust experience. So we are moving that, but also combining it now with a 2-week inpatient and outpatient instead of a whole 4 weeks of each. Because outpatient also was really affected by the pandemic, and many of our outpatient doctors are doing so much more telemedicine that the residents feel like they're sitting there just shadowing and not getting a robust experience. To make up that, we have had our first 2 residents complete the REACH curriculum through the state of Virginia. I went through it with them. It is an incredibly mind-boggling amount of information in a Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, Sunday morning session, but then followed by every other week case presentations with your groups. So the residents that went through it found it valuable. We're getting ready to sign up our second group, and we will hopefully have the whole residency through that within the next 2 years. I'd like to say year, but I think that might be too lofty. The trouble is that you have these every other week case presentations, and you have to pick a time, whether it be first thing in the morning, which for them is 8 o'clock, or noon, and some of those are going to be hard for everyone to make, and you can only miss 2 during the program. So we're working, and Amy Kreider is a major part of that program, so she can help us navigate that to make it work for you all. And then the third year NICU rotation, we are taking 2 weeks away from managing preemies to birth response team. We found out that our residents are not getting to attend enough births and are not comfortable resuscitating babies. So we're trying to beef that up and hopefully get the nursery having you guys see more deliveries as well. So we're working on those things to better meet the needs of our residents in the world we live in today.
All right, so this is what our current didactic and conference schedule is. We do a morning report Tuesday mornings and Friday morning. Wednesday mornings is board review for the residents, and then grand rounds on Thursday, as you know. We have moved to this noon conference didactic setup, A, because it is hard to sit and lecture for 4 hours, which I felt since I started here, and B, I think you get more clinical time when you're not missing a full clinical half day. So the big thing for our faculty, please try to remember to let the residents out a little bit early so that they can go get lunch and get to didactics by 12:30, and that they may miss your first or second patient in the afternoon, hopefully just one. Didactics was supposed to be from 12:30 to 1:15, and that is Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. We are still doing a block didactic, one Friday every month or every block, and that's mostly to be able to get in sim lab, and then also to be able to get in adolescent lectures when our adolescent docs from Richmond come for the day. Our didactic curriculum is going to be on an 18-month curriculum, which is what Dr. Doherty had set up before I took over. And it's really, the idea is to be able to get the topics in twice for the residents during their 3 years of training. So right now we are 2/3 of the way through our first 18-month curriculum. So we're going through December 31st, and then we will reset in January. Oops. Didactics, again, is supposed to be protected time for the residents. I know I'm guilty of this and honestly just don't know what time it is most of the time when I'm texting people. But I am trying to remember and be mindful of it, and when I'm on service, to try not to bother the residents. We are pulling from the ABP content outline for the general peds boards, and I have broken all of them down by topic for sections, and I've sent all of the topics from the content outline to the section chief so that you guys can share that with your colleagues to be able to create robust didactics for our residents. There is a set of essential didactics that is repeated every July, August for our residents. And we do appreciate all of our faculty who do contribute to doing our essential didactics yearly. We've already got a bunch scheduled for this coming July and August, and we'll continue to do those yearly as we move forward. Big changes that are going to happen starting in January is we're going to try to congregate topics together again. This past 18 months since we were making the change to the noon conference and I went on maternity leave, we kind of just let it go willy-nilly based on when we could get people in. But for the residents, it seems like it's better when topics are congregated so they can concentrate on pulmonology for a couple weeks and concentrate on cardiology for a couple weeks. So we are going to ask that section chiefs we'll give you a block time of when you can get your topics scheduled within and get your partners scheduled in that time frame. We also ask that if you have last minute changes, because we know people get sick, we know that there are issues that come up. If one of your partners can maybe trade in for a topic for another day that you're giving it, that would be really helpful. If not, just let us know as soon as possible so we can try to fill in the gaps.
That's it.
That is the end.
So just so y'all know what that picture is, at retreat we had a team building activity of building a cardboard boat. As you can see, Jackie and Allie and David are all three in the boat that my team made, which is an actual cardboard boat, and we won. And that team also included Dr. Shoemaker, who I don't think we could have put 4 in the boat, but we successfully floated 3 people. And I believe that's about the 3rd or 4th trip that boat went out. It survived until David Eames tried to sink it. So we did get to have a live retreat this year. It was a lot of fun. It was some great team building. And it's just a great thing to be a part of the education of the residents. And I thank everybody for all of your involvement and successfully teaching all these brilliant people pediatrics in 3 short years. And residents, thank you for all that you've done to help develop and revamp the curriculum and keep the residency moving forward.